Hi, I'm Bavin. I've lived most of my pre-adult life in Mumbai. I've done schooling and undergrad in Mumbai. And once I graduated, I moved to US for masters. In 2011, I lived in the States for a decade. Then I moved to Canada, and right now I'm in Toronto.
How is your journey why did you move from US to Canada, and how was that process for you in terms of visa or in terms of just a personal journey for you moving from US to Canada?
So, on in the US, I was on H1, and I was in my fifth year of H1, and my green I-140 was about to be approved. But H1 has a cap of 6 years, and after that, I have to renew my H1 visa every year.
Yeah.
And every time I renew my H1 visa, I have to give an interview in India so that I can travel outside of the states.
Yeah.
And the interview process is a bit risky because I can get rejected. And once if I get rejected, then I have to uproot my whole life and then start again in India, which is a little bit annoying. So just to avoid that scenario, I moved to Canada because the opportunity fall into my lap, and it was a golden opportunity for me to remove the visa headache
Yeah.
forever. And I left for the opportunity, and I moved to Canada on work permit, and my employer took care of all the whole visa process of me moving to Canada on a work permit. So that was a bit simpler for me. I didn't have to do anything from my end. My employer took care of everything, and I moved during COVID, so that was a little bit annoying process. But the immigration in Canada was very easier even during those times. And once I spent a year on work permit in Canada, and after a year I applied for the PR. So I am on PR right now.
Okay.
This is the second year of my PR.
Okay. What's life like in Toronto? How is Canada treating you?
I would say after coming here, the life in the US is better than in Toronto for sure. Main reason being the taxes that I have to pay after moving to Toronto. I was under the impression that after moving to Canada, the taxes would be lower because I took a pay reduction after when I moved to Canada. And based on the circumstances, that the Canadian cost of living is cheaper than California, which I thought to be true, but that is not the case. I still have to pay like at least 47 to 48% of tax
Wow.
on my, and it is really annoying. So that would be fine if the cost of living would have been cheaper than California, but it's not. It's same or more than California.
Oh,
So
in Toronto, it's more expensive than California?
yeah.
Wow.
So a basic example is the rent. Like when I moved to Canada during the COVID, the rent was cheaper than Canada. But once the COVID was done, the rent was exactly same as California.
Wow.
So it's not cheaper.
Yeah.
And like the basic groceries is also more expensive in Toronto. And plus, California has more options to buy groceries than Toronto. So that is like this is just a basic example. There are a lot of other things that to compare the cost of living.
And
Yeah.
how's life otherwise, like social life and in terms of
Social life is fine given it's a downtown. You can make friends easily.
right?
But I mean, it's better. It's easier to make friends here. Social life is good. I mean, I'm an introvert, so I don't go out and look for friends or be more social. So I'm happy with the situation.
Yeah.
So from like after talking to people, like I have friends who are social. When they had more friends in US and in Canada. So that tells me that there is, even though there is more people and those people are easygoing compared to the States, it's more easier to make friends in US and Canada.
Got it. If you were given a chance, if another opportunity were to fall in your lap, would you choose to stay in Canada or move back to US?
I'm already moving to US.
Oh,
next
you
year.
are moving to US?
Once
I
I get
didn't
this.
know that.
As I said, this cost of living US, the main problem in the US was the immigration. Once you get the Canadian citizenship, the problem solves itself.
Awesome. So what is your plan? Like when are you moving to US? What's going on there?
Hopefully, I'm not sure about the date yet, but after I get my citizenship, yes.
Got it. Awesome. That is cool. If
Yeah,
you
at least I saved so much money on taxes, and I was able to save a lot more in the US than I'm able to save in Canada.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So,
If you were to compare the work culture, you worked in both the countries. What is it like?
so I'm not the best person to answer this question because I have been in the same team and the same company both in the States and in Canada. So for
Okay.
me, the work culture is the same.
Okay. Okay.
I don't see any difference. I have not worked in a Canadian company. I have been in the same company in the US and in Canada. So
Okay. Okay. So let's do like a quick rapid fire. Okay. Okay. So where have you lived the most in the US?
Seattle,
Seattle.
I
Okay.
do.
Let's take your entire time in US and base your answers based on your entire time in US. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you quick food questions, right? So if you were to order coffee from anywhere in US, where would you order coffee from?
Phil's Coffee,
This is in
California.
the chain? California. Okay.
Yeah.
What about I don't know if you're a biryani fan, but what about biryani?
I don't have a specific place. I keep
Uh, okay. What is your go-to Indian restaurant?
Can-Am Pizza. They have a lot of Indian pizzas,
Oh,
and they actually do a good job. It was in Seattle, yeah.
nice. Okay. What is your favorite chain? The most popular chain, food chain?
Sarvana Bhavan.
Oh, nice. South Indian.
Yeah,
Do you have Sarvana Bhavan in Canada?
I do, but it's not that good as US.
Mm-hmm. What's your go-to restaurant in Canada where you live in Toronto right now?
Go to restaurant in Canada, Juicy Dumplings,
Ooh, where is it?
soup dumpling in Toronto downtown.
Okay, if you were to give an advice to any Indian moving to US or to Canada for studies or for like a better life, what would your advice be?
Move to US.
Not Canada.
No, because life is much more difficult. As a student, life is already difficult no matter where you move.
True.
But moving to Canada as a student, your life is going to be much difficult than US. Because in the US, you can at least find on-campus jobs relatively easily than Canada.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, it's very difficult to find an on-campus job, and in Canada, it's legal to work off-campus, but it's still difficult to find a job because there's so many people here, and you have to compete with a lot of. That is not true. That is same with the US. But in the US, you can find a job on campus relatively easily than in Canada. So move to US. You move into US is definitely better.
And as a student, if you were to suggest, most people who've not been in the US before are drawn to the coasts, right? So as a student, would you recommend?
I mean, I would say actually the university, if it's an Ivy League university, then it's fine. But other than that, if it's not an Ivy League, it really doesn't matter where you graduate from. Like I graduated from University of Dayton, and I think I'm doing fine. I'm not if I would have been in Ivy League, I would have done better. But I'm not doing bad. So if it's not Ivy League or very famous university, there's no point in like choosing an expensive university. Just choose a cheaper university, and just graduate. So that is better than just running behind famous universities.
Yeah. What is the job market like in the US? Like, have you, especially for freshers, would you know what it's like right now?
It's very difficult, the job market, relative to what we experienced, because during our time it was not that competitive. But now I'm in tech.
Right.
So right now, currently, the job market is very harsh in tech because a lot of companies keep laying off like every quarter. So you're not only competing with other freshers, but also with an experienced person, right? And now that there is AI everywhere, just knowing how to code is not enough. You need to bring something else to the table along with the coding, because if it's just coding, that is done by Copilot or any other AI models. So just knowing how to code is not enough.
What are a few, if someone were to upskill in a current market, what are a few courses they could learn, or what are a few things they can look at in order to upskill and have an edge over others?
So I like mechanical engineering. During engineering is an evergreen field.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in tech, data is the evergreen field. If you have an option to do anything related to data, like data engineering or data scientist, or anything with the like not like machine learning or AI, that would be better, because data will never die. There's always going to be new opportunities to improve how we store data and how we use data, right? So as the data grows within a company, they will keep looking on new options to how to store it cheaply and how to access it cheaply. So there's always going to be innovation in the data field.